From turnstile to turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Dominic Evka. We're here once again with Peter, the man, Brookhart, just coming off a big 5K race over at Lake Eola, Orlando, Florida, the 407. You heard it here first. Peter is a marathon runner.
It was actually just a 5K, but I will say it was the first.
What did I say? I said a 5K.
Well, then you said I'm a marathon runner.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, that's not true because life is a marathon.
There you go, and I'm killing it. I think. I will say it was my first official run. Like I had a bib number and everything. I did do that run at Port Orleans French Quarter. I did that beignet run, but that was like a mile and a block. But this was my first actual race, if you want to call it that. I think I did is probably the best one I've ever done. Like I'm used to doing runs. I've done plenty in my life, probably over a dozen of 5Ks or 10Ks or a mixture of the bunch. This is the first one where I ran and I was not being passed the entire time. Usually I'm slowly but surely just being passed by everybody.
Well, you know what? It's not who's passing you and whatnot, but that's a good sign. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it made me feel good. I kept the same about 20 people. One might go ahead of me, but then I don't stop. That's my thing is I'll slow down before I stop running.
Right.
The way I've been training. So they might go ahead of me, but they might stop and take a break, and then I won't be, so I'll catch up, and then vice versa. So it was a good run. It was beautiful weather out. It was 80, cool breeze off the lake, sunny, barely any clouds, and complimentary beer afterwards.
So that is awesome. I am super jealous. I wish I had the courage that you did to do a race like that, because it's something truly that I want to do one day, but we'll see. I'm not as motivated when it comes to running as you are.
I can find something to bribe you with.
Right, you could. There's always just a way to bribe me.
Yep.
But that's besides the point, Peter. We have a great episode today. This might be my favorite episode because it's so odd and goofy and only true Disney fans will understand. But before we get into that, I do want to go over a few housekeeping things like we always do. First off, make sure to email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com to send us your theme park testimonials. Those are anything that you want to share from a theme park experience around the world that you want us to hear. It does not have to be Disney or Universal. We haven't gotten a whole lot of those, so please send us your emails because we truly do enjoy reading those stories. Second off, you can go follow Peter and Sarah Brookhart over at the Brookhart Project over on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook. And they got a really cool thing going with this new Facebook chat, get to know each other type group, whatever you want to call it. Super cool. And also, they just came out with the website, so make sure to go on there, check it out. And if you're feeling like you want to wear some cool new swag, go sport one of those It's Good to Be Home sweatshirt, hoodies, shirts, hats, and all of the above. And don't forget to follow me and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit.
I'm just saying, Dom has not ordered a sweatshirt. He was super pumped for a sweatshirt.
I just showed Victoria it yesterday, and I was like, she both said, she goes, I want to get a sweatshirt. We have to do it. I know we do.
The order better be in by midnight, or Cinderella's shoes are turning back to pumpkins, and I'm shutting the sweatshirts off the website.
That's fine. I went to the Apple store today.
Do they sell my sweatshirts at the Apple store?
I almost bought myself a desktop, and then the guy actually kind of convinced me out of it, but he hasn't fully convinced me out of it. I still might do it. I'm not sure yet. The guy at the Apple store, I know this is kind of off topic, the guy at the Apple store basically told me, he goes, I think you might be better off just buying it'd be cheaper for you just to buy a monitor / TV, whatever you want to do, and a hard drive, and just use that. Because you already have a MacBook computer.
He's not necessarily wrong.
But I was just shocked that the actual employee told me that. You think he would try to sell me a computer? and I appreciated that.
That's good.
And he's not totally wrong either, but I do think there's still like that's still a bunch of different pieces. I, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still debating. I'm gonna do one or the other. I'm not sure yet what one though.
I think you should go to a new MacBook Pro.
What you mean? Get the desktop?
No, the laptop.
I don't. I already got a laptop. I got a. My laptop's not even that old.
You got a piece of crap laptop.
That's now you know what you're doing. You're trying to make me angry, and I'm not.
All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah. You can.
So-
you can put that in if you want. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I'll probably keep a little bit of it, but not all of it. So today's episode.
Oh, wait.
Like Dom.
Patreon.
Oh yeah. And don't forget that you could be getting these podcasts a whole day early, and get exclusive videos and mini podcasts if you became a patron on our special page. It's like a special Facebook almost, but it's patreon.com/Parkhopper Podcast. And there you can kind of get a brief view because you can see some things are public, but some things you have to be a certain level of patron. So it's a lot of fun play. It's a fun place for us to connect with people who support us that little extra mile, and we get to give real fun, real fancy, exclusive content for those people. So definitely check that out.
And speaking of that fun extra content, tomorrow morning I have the morning off until an event I have to go to at 1 o'clock. So I am going to be recording a I4 ramble tomorrow morning. So that will be up sometime.
Exciting.
Yeah. It'll be the first one for me. And
That's super cool.
And the funny thing is this kind of leads into our topic is I was going to do it on a topic that we're doing, but I can find something else
Ooh.
because I
Yeah.
think it's fun to talk about with you. So, and this is going to be a much larger or longer version of what I would have talked about anyway. So I'm happy we're doing this instead.
Good. Well, the suspense has gone on long enough, Tom. This is almost like 7 or 8 solid minutes before we even said our topic. Our topic today on the Park Hopper Podcast is none other than the smells and fragrances of Walt Disney World and other theme parks.
That was really loud. I'm pumped. I am pumped because I got so many smells I want to talk about. That probably sounded
But
really.
before-
We should just cut that off and say I got so many smells I want to talk about because I got so many smells I want to talk about because I got so many smells I want to talk about because I got so many smells I want to talk about. And you could just that could be a clip that you can put it insert it with anything.
I'm just going to loop that in a bunch of times too. Like so many smells I want to talk about, so many smells I want to talk about. But there's a reason why we're doing this podcast this week. And it's because over the past week, we have heard of more changes coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. And that is they have confirmed that Sweet Spells on Sunset Boulevard at Disney's Hollywood Studios will be closing forever on April 15th. It's still going to be a store, a merchandise store. And I think it's going to have Pixar merchandise. They've already kind of shown some of what its display is going to be. But the candy making, the popcorn, the amazing candy smells. You walk in there, close your eyes, smell it. Smells like a confectionery back in the 19 teens. If you were alive then, but if you weren't, it brings you to Disney World.
You know what I was
We
thinking?
walk in this. What?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
It's one of those things that you could be anywhere in the world and you could open up a box of candy or walk into a candy store, and if it smells just right, boom, you're in Hollywood Studios in Sweet Spells.
What I was going to say about Sweet Smells was, I was thinking to myself, this is a store that I've walked through a number of times to, get to Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror. It's kind of like a shortcut when Sunset Boulevard is, crowded. And I thought to myself, what was one thing that, I used to always, if I were to buy something in there, and when we were cast members, the reason I would go into, that store was not even for the candy or the treats. It was because as cast members, we obviously got discounts on merchandise and food. And we were fans of Coca-Cola, and cast members couldn't get discounts at the stands out in the parks on bottles of Coke, but that store sold Coke inside of the store, and therefore it was considered a merchandise, and we got discounts on it. So that was a store that I went to a lot to get Coke because we were able to get a discount on it because of that.
I love that. And to piggyback off that, not just cast members listening, but any annual pass holders or DVC members, your merchandise discount works the exact same way. So if you need a bottle of water, even, don't go to those booths. Go to those stores like the soon to be closed Sweet Spells. I also like Dom said, it's a good shortcut to go to Sunset Boulevard rides, but I do it for the AC during a hot summer day.
Right.
You just need that good 75 feet of air conditioning.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, I thought to myself that I forgot about is they have a treat there at that store. I mean, I know this isn't necessarily smells, but we're kind of talking about this store at the moment. That I don't know that they sell anywhere else on Disney property, and I'm curious if they are gonna, put this somewhere else. And I just want to, Peter, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the carrot cake
Yes,
cookie.
you're right. Yes, the carrot cake cookie sandwich. Me and Victoria had that past February not just when we just went, but February before, and it's a very good treat, and it's something that a lot of people don't know about. But I'm curious to know if they're gonna, make that somewhere else in the park, because I don't think you can get it anywhere else.
There was a small little chat going on about this on our the Brookard Project discussion group just this morning about it, because there are a lot
The
of
carrot
people
cake
who really
cookie?
love the carrot cake cookie sandwich, because we haven't
Oh,
had it
so
yet. We even mentioned it in the vlog that went up today. We went through there yesterday, and Sarah brought that up. She's like, "We've neither Sarah or I have had it, so we're gonna get over there and get it before it's closed. Maybe I don't know if we're doing Phantasmic Friday this week, but if we are, maybe we'll get it then."
if you like carrot cake, which I do, it's one of my top five favorite
I love
desserts.
it. Yeah.
You'll like it. And I mean, I guess because I try to keep as much as I can with that Facebook group, but there is a lot of people posting and a lot of discussion going on, which is great. It's just hard to
Yeah,
keep up with all of it.
Yeah, I haven't even been able to. I've been trying, but I got a job and
What
gotta
are people
sleep
saying?
sometimes.
What do they think? Where do they think it would go? Or is it
They're
gonna
all
go-
nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, no one suggested. I think somebody, I forgot who said it and where, but they said that it was somewhere else before Sweet Spells. Oh, you know what? It was at Rockin' or Starring Rolls Cafe, the old breakfast quick service.
Why can't I?
Literally right next to it. Like, imagine you're going to
The outdoor?
Toy Story Mania from Sweet Spells. There's like those couple stairs.
Oh,
Right next to Brown Derby?
Oh, yes. Right, like it's in between that and Brown Derby. It's connected. It's
So that's
basically the
starring-
same building. Yeah.
Yes, that's Starring Rolls Cafe. It's been closed for maybe 4 years now, 3 years. That was our go-to breakfast place before Starbucks was a thing. And they had it there. Then when that closed, they brought it to Sweet Spells.
Okay.
So people are saying maybe because they did that they'll be transferring it to a different location. But no one knows, and everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to keep
Well, I
it.
guess it's more popular than I thought, so you'd have to think that Disney would try and keep it.
I also thought they'd keep wishes forever.
Okay.
So
Well,
never say never.
we all have a wish, and maybe our dreams will come true.
So, obviously, since now it's been a good 10-minute discussion about this small store named Sweet Spells, it is apparent that fragrances and smells really hold a connection. And I don't know the science behind it, but I know there is science behind like smells being a memory thing. Like people remember smells, and not only that, people can connect like very important memories or even distant, long time ago memories to smells. And let me tell you what, before Dom loses it and blows up from excitement, Disney World is chock full of smells, and if you go to Disney World, you know what I'm talking about. We all have our favorite smells. We all do. We all rock them. We love them. Go.
Yes. So one thing I want to even say that I find funny is that a lot of the Disney smells aren't even necessarily good smells, but they bring back memories which make them good. And that kind of leads me off to my first smell, which I think you would have to agree, and I think most Disney people would have to agree on this smell because this is like I think a universal smell. It's not necessarily a a less common one, and that is the fire water inside the Pirates of the Caribbean queue ride everywhere in and around that building. Uh, it's not necessarily a really bad smell. It's not like displeasing, but it's not something that it's like really good either. But
Right. It's like it's got like the water on here's got more sulfur. I
yes,
think it's
it's like a
heavier.
musty, like almost like a basement smell to it. But that smell brings back that memory to that ride and that childhood memory that you have, and waiting in line in that ride, and whenever you smell that smell, even when I like get whiffs of it where I'm at here, because sometimes you can, it it brings you back of being in those caves, walking to the boat with the the light poles. It's something that I think most true Disney fans will always, even if they're not into Disney smells, they'll say Pirates of the Caribbean has such a distinct smell to it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off that because you said a key word that not all the smells are good, but they bring back memories and they have connections. And I think the one I'm about to say was actually I was just talking about it in some comments last week or the week before about this specific location, and it's the building where you can do where Character Spot in Epcot Future World is, where the building attached to Club Cool has this very distinct smell. And I was on, I think, Twitter or Instagram, and someone was like, "What is that?" I mentioned it in like my Instagram story, and then somebody commented, "Was like, what is that smell? Like, that's insane. Like, why does it always smell like that?" Dom, you know what I'm talking about in Character Spot?
Right behind it.
Yeah, right behind
so
it. It's got like a weird smell.
They used to do like pop up meet and greets in there.
Yes, and that smell, I know what it is because I worked in Electric Umbrella and I worked at Fountain View, which is where Starbucks now is. It used to be an ice cream.
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't spent a whole lot of time in that particular area to tell you what it smells like. I do know, but that the little underpass where the Character Spot is and where Innovations used to be does have a certain smell to it for sure.
It's dairy. It's like old dairy
Okay.
because it used to be the ice cream place, and then actually there's a basement in part of Epcot in Future World. There's actually a basement kind of like Magic Kingdom, and the Epcot bakery department works underneath Character Spot.
Okay, I did not know that.
So they are working with dairy products all day long, Monday through Friday. Probably on the weekend too. But that's why if you ever next time you go, walk in there, hit up Club Cool, get some Beverly, walk out, walk in that hallway. Or if you're there doing Festival of the Arts, they have like their lab there now with the glow in the dark donut. That's what that smell is. It's dairy. It's old or like not. I don't want to say old dairy, but it's because there's been dairy in that building for
Right.
decades.
For sure, for sure. Well, that's a great one, Peter. Thanks for sharing some valuable information that I did not know. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would have to say my next favorite smell, and I don't know that. I think it's a pretty distinct one, but it's definitely. I would say. I mean, this could possibly be my favorite, but I don't know. And that is the beach club lobby area with the hotel slash with the seafood at Cape May. Something about those two smell like the beach club has a very distinct
It's a very
smell.
distinct mixture too.
Yeah. And when you get the seafood in there, for some reason it smells delicious to me, and it's probably a terrible smell, but then again it goes back to memories. Whenever I walk into the beach club, I think of our countless numbers of times of us on our college program going to Beaches and Cream, me staying there with my family, going there to dinner with my aunt and my mom, and going there for dinner on Christmas. Like, it just brings back those memories, and it's all just because of that small little smell that it has there. Because we truly have spent a lot of time at that resort.
Yeah, I love it there, and I like how you bring up the memory aspect. And I'll say one that has a vivid memory, and it wasn't going to be the first one, but I'll put it here, and it's a classic one that I think a lot of people know about, and it's the land at Epcot.
Yes, for sure.
Especially now, here's the important part. It's most potent in the morning, which is interesting because it has to do with the way they cook breakfast food. Brings me back to all the memories of being on vacation, running to Epcot, running to Soarin' first thing, either to get my fast pass, my paper fast pass when that was a thing, or just to run there to get in standby. The interesting thing is, while Soarin' was down for refurbishment before they did Soarin' Around the World, they actually didn't get as much foot traffic in that building, so they didn't offer the same breakfast options. So that smell went away for a few months. It's now back, but why I say memories, it not just brought me back to memories of the land building, but there is a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, right across the street from my mother-in-law's house, that I just love, and it smells exactly like. I'll talk to Sarah, or I'll talk to Sue, Sarah's mom, or her sisters, and they all agree. And you walk out, and it's weird as like, so smells get less strong the colder it is. That's why if you walk in a freezer, you don't really smell much. When it's cold out in the wintertime, you don't smell as much. So it's cool that in Chicago, where my family lives, in the winter you won't smell that. But if you walk outside of Sue's house to like go to the car or to go to the backyard, and the sun's out and it's hitting this building, and it's like 11 a.m., that kitchen's really cooking, the wind's hitting it the right way, you'll be in Evergreen Park, Illinois, on the south side of Chicago. You close your eyes, walk out that door, and you are in the land at Epcot.
That's great.
And now that I live here, I smell it. Now I'm like, now I'm at home. I'm at my family's house.
I have, it's weird, very weird. There's a booth at my work, table 22, to be exact, that for some reason, every time I walk past this booth, I get whiffs of the land. And I don't tell nobody this because they'll think I'm crazy. I mean, if I were to go to anybody at my work, say, table 22 smells like the land, they think I'm a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
But it does. Like, I just get whiffs, and it makes me smile, and I think of driving on that boat, going through, looking at the ginormous 9-pound lemon, and just walking, going on the escalator, going to Soarin', or I don't know. It does. It brings it back.
Now, I like how you point that out. Like, and we said it before. Like, Disney people get this, but not many other people do. Some people get it. They're like, "Oh, I know exactly how you smell." Well, like, my grandma's house smelled like this, and now when I walk downtown, I smell my grandma's house, and it brings me back. I loved. It was one of like my first memories of Victoria in Disney World. It was like we were going to the bus stop the morning we were going to Epcot, and I think I could like smell the humidity in the air. And I said that, and I was like, "Oh, it smells like Florida. It smells like a resort with the humidity in the air." I was like, "I'm so glad to smell the smell again." And then she like stopped. I was like, "Wait." And I forgot where you guys were before, but she exclaimed, she's like, "I always thought you guys were like," she kind of like, she's like, "I kind of think you guys were like weird when you guys would talk about that." Because for months and months and months, she would have to endure me and Dom talking about our favorite Disney smells, because that's what we do when we're together. We talk about our favorite Disney smells. But then she got to experience, and she's like, "Oh my God, I get what they're saying. I get what they're talking about. I am now a Disney freak."
Yeah. I don't think she's a freak yet. We'll get her there.
So I'm gonna take my boyfriend Dom, and I'm gonna move here in my free apartment.
Yeah. We'll get her there. But
hashtag Victoria moved to Orlando.
I love it. But that did happen. She truly did say, like, I now get what you guys are talking about. Because it is so true. It really is. And speaking of restaurants, this next smell kind of leads into another story. I'm actually going to this place this weekend. But one of my favorite smells is, again, it's a lot of it's hotels. And it is the lobby at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Ooh,
it has, because you walk into the lobby, and obviously it has that lobby smell, but you have two prominent restaurants right below it that just bring in a bunch of smells, and it has like a barbecue-ish smell to it. And there's a restaurant that I live by that is a barbecue restaurant. And I kid you not, I forget every single time that I think this, but every single time I open up that door of that restaurant, I think I'm at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, because the smell is so distinctly the same as Animal Kingdom Lodge's smell. And that is truly a great smell, too.
And the important thing to point out here is anybody listening to us is probably going to be Disney people like we are, so I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but This is what I always explain to people when they're like, "What? You guys are nuts. What are you talking about?" It's like when you're not in Disney, you're constantly, or for the most part, greatly thinking about Disney or thinking about the next time you can go back. Or if you experience something like a smell, it so vividly and easily brings you back in your mind. So it's comforting to smell those smells or to have that connection to be like, oh my God, yeah, I might be 2,000 miles away, but right now at this moment, boom,
Yeah.
feels like I'm
Right.
there.
And it does. It does. It brings on a great feeling for sure. For sure.
So I'm tweeting something really quick. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, go right now, check it out. It's an important message. It was posted at 10:52 p.m. on April 12th.
Thursday, Eastern Time Zone. I'll be honest with you, Peter. Right now, as we're recording this podcast, I have on my TV a preview of a show called X on the Beach,
Yeah.
and I think it's ridiculous, and I can't believe
Well,
I'm
I'm gonna
watching
be
this.
honest, everybody. Dom watches a lot of TV, and almost 95% of what Dom watches on TV is straight
Well,
garbage, and he knows it.
I'm the first to admit it. Listen, I still watch the challenge, and I'll be honest with you. Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potate, but I am one of the biggest Bachelor fans there are on this planet.
I know you are. I know you are.
You're smart. You're a smart one there. Too bad she doesn't have a Twitter.
She doesn't?
No.
All right, everybody who's listening, go to Twitter, find my tweet.
You want her to see that truly? Is
What, tag it
tag-
Dom and Vic Eats Detroit?
tag it to the, because you can't tag on Instagram, or tag it to our YouTube channel, because she sees that probably the most, and write in the comment section of the video. Then she'll see it. Or Instagram. We don't have a Twitter, and she don't have a personal one either.
All right, it's got 2 likes on it already, though.
Oh, you already posted it?
Yeah, I already posted it. Well,
Is there any way?
that was a
Is there
bummer.
any way you can like edit it and add in
Add what?
like a link?
To your Instagram?
Yeah, to something where she could see it, because she won't see it. If the goal is to have her to see it.
I'll figure it out.
Right.
I'll figure it out. All right, one of my favorite smells, and it coincides with my absolute favorite resort in all of Disney World, Wilderness Lodge. You walk in, you get smacked in the face when those sliding doors open with a gust of air conditioning. Even when it's Christmas Eve, you still get smacked in the face with a gust of air conditioning, and that air conditioning has made sweet, sweet friendship, close, best friendship with a fragrance that will just stick in the neurons of your brain for the rest of your life.
And what is that?
Beautiful Disney World magic, foresty, fragrancy sweetness. I actually don't know what it is, but it's great.
And I think that smell, like talking about like Wilderness Lodge, I think that speaks in. If you listen to a lot of the smells that we say, they are resorts, because each resort has a different theme, a different smell, and Disney wants to immerse you. Like, I was gonna go on to it and say, but I'll just, because I got other ones, and I'll just kind of include them into this. Like, one of my favorite smells is, the Polynesian. I mean, it used to have the big water fountain. They had that fire water smell mixed with the Hawaiian smells that they had in Ohana right above you, or like Pop Century. That smell brings back a nostalgic factor for me, because I stayed there so much. So I think each resort definitely just has its own distinct smell that I think, even if I haven't stayed there before, I could say that's my favorite smell, because that smell reminds me of that Disney resort.
Yeah, and I like to piggyback on that, Dom, and say, you want to know probably why Disney does the fragrance a lot? And it's because, and this might surprise you, and it's because when it comes to Disney World theming of resorts, inside the rooms, not much different. Like, I'm looking at just hotels, not the DVC, but if you look at Disney World hotels, you go from a value to a moderate to deluxe. There's honestly not that much different to me. I've been in all different levels of hotel room. It's the exact same layout. just with what color are the walls. Maybe you got an extra square foot here, an extra square foot
A bigger
there,
bed.
maybe a double vanity. Maybe it's depending on how you book it or when you book it. But really, it's really just the theming, and the wallpaper can change very easily. The paintings can change very easily. The lamp, you can't change too much. But what they can do is pump the air in the lobby and in the elevators and in the restaurants and in the bedrooms of that hotel with a very distinctly different smell.
That's actually something.
I think that's why they do
I
it.
never thought of that, but it is very true. I mean, you think about it. All Disney hotels are the exact same. They're just bigger and themed a little bit differently. And if you think about it, some of the themings of the rooms aren't even like they're Disney's starting to make their stuff look very more modernish, like cleaner looking.
Yeah.
So the theming of it's not necessarily over the top in their hotel rooms either anymore. Speaking of Christmas, you mentioned Christmas. One of my favorite smells in Disney, and a lot of it has to do with we spent a lot of time here, and it brings me back to Christmas, and that is at Disney Springs, and that is the Christmas store.
Oh yeah.
That has a very distinct smell to it. And I don't know what this smell is. I couldn't explain it, but I definitely know when I smell it, I'm at the Christmas store. You could literally blindfold me, put me right in front of it, and I could tell you where we were because of that smell. Why are you smiling?
You guys got Facebook, right?
Like a Facebook page?
Yeah.
We have one. We're not too active on it.
No, but you guys have your own Facebooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Why? What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing.
Is everyone going to send her like friend requests or something?
No, but they might. No, I doubt it. I just tagged you guys in a post.
Oh, okay.
That's all. What is my... Okay, here. Dom says all of our things are close to resorts, and it's so typical us.
I just said the Christmas.
We love the
I just said the
resorts.
Christmas store.
One of my favorite smells in Disney World, and it's weird because it's kind of not a smell, but it is, the Disney World buses.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That, the monorail, I would 100% agree. A nice sweaty, person that hasn't showered in 24 hours sitting on that bus or monorail, as disgusting as it sounds, there's not a better smell in the world. Because that means that was a hard day's work at that theme park.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like you're at home.
Yeah, for sure. I have to agree with you 100%.
Gosh, and there's like that. You can't go much deeper than that. Like that's what it is. It's a motor, stale metal and plastic, and the heat, air conditioned.
Even the bus stops have a smell to them.
Yes. Oh, they're so good. And of course, the Grand Floridian has its own smell during the entire year. But then, boom, November comes. It's got a whole different smell, and we all know what we're talking about
Christmas.
here. Let's go on Christmas and the gingerbread
But
house.
you know what? And I was going to mention this too, and you kind of just brought it on to me now. Not only does the Grand Floridian have a different smell during Christmas, but you want to know what else has a different smell over Christmas? I think the Magic Kingdom does. I think Main Street USA definitely just, especially during the Christmas parties, I'll be more exact. During a Christmas party, it definitely has a different smell of like, because you got the cookies being made and the hot cocoa, and believe it or not, guys, Disney pumps out smells. The confectionery, you're not smelling the candy and the baked goods that they're making. I'm sorry to disappoint you if you didn't know that. Disney pumps out those smells.
And I've actually seen that machine. Have you?
I have not, but I know it. I know they're there.
You've walked past it countless times, Dom. Because I made it a point to go find it the few times I worked in the Magic Kingdom. I've worked in the Magic Kingdom maybe a dozen times doing parade shifts back in 2012. And so I worked mostly in Epcot. So when I got those handful of shifts doing parade, I was like, I'm going to go explore the tunnels of Magic Kingdom. And I found the machine that pumps this. Just
Oh,
its sole
you found it in the
responsibility
tunnels?
is to... Yeah, it's the sole responsibility is to pump the bakery smell onto Main Street to get you feeling like you can smell fresh baked cookies from 6 in the morning until 1 in the morning.
Yeah, and I'm curious to wonder how many people actually know that. I wonder if people truly do believe that. Even the true Disney people, I wonder if they even know that. Because I didn't know that until I worked there.
Well, you mentioned the confectionery, and they actually have two different smells. I think a lot of people know about the bakery.
Yeah.
I don't think as many people know about the confectionery.
Well, the bakery would be a Starbucks now, but when the actual Main Street Bakery was there,
They still
is it still
they still do
is
it
it the
though.
same smell?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is funny because it's a whole different place.
You want me to get real deep? A real good smell?
Yeah,
And this
Yeah,
is
let's-
actually a terrible smell.
let's get real deep.
You would only know this if you were a cast member at one point in your life.
Wait, what park? Give me a
Magic
hint.
Kingdom.
Oh yeah,
You might have been over there, maybe.
yeah. I think I
And-
have. I think I know what you're
And
talking
that
about.
is, for those of you who don't know, Disney has a central like trash thing. Like their dumpsters behind stage aren't like dumpsters where garbage men have to come pick up the trash. That dumpster goes straight to a tube that goes down below in those tunnels in the Magic Kingdom. In walking over down one hallway, I won't. It just this hallway is where one of the main tubes were, and it smelled like, I'm sorry, but it smelled like complete butt.
Yeah. So Dom's. I'm gonna throw a little before Dom gets a
But
little
that
emotional
but
about it. I'm
that
gonna throw
smell
some
that smell
technicalities.
brings me back to like I wish I was walking down, as bad as the smell was, I wish I was walking down that hallway right now.
Yeah, but think about like during the summer when that smell would be so ripe and strong.
Did you ever smell it? Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Did you walk down that hallway
Yeah,
before?
there's parts of Epcot's tunnels that
Like, but
that
it's
are
by the
same
Crystal
thing because,
Palace.
yeah, because what happens is Disney doesn't they use garbage bags now, but they actually used to not use garbage bags in the Magic Kingdom. And what they would do is they'd pull the buckets, like the box, like the mini garbage cans inside the garbage cans out and replace it with an empty one. Then they would push these garbage cans to certain locations throughout the park, open a closet door, dump them down a tube, and that tube, like Dom said, would literally get pushed by a system of air jets. The garbage would get pushed by air through a tube system out of the park, and that's what Dom is smelling.
Yeah, and it was not a good smell, but I tell you what, I would do anything to smell that right now. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody by using the word butt too.
No,
But
it's
I meant
fine, 'cause
B-U-T.
It's true.
B-U-T, not B-U-T-T.
It is so true.
And speaking of bad smells, another bad smell that I just wish I could smell right now, and it's not as potent as it used to be. I think they tamed it down a little bit. But the sauerkraut inside Casey's Corner. When you walked on the side to go, you could go either to
It's
Emporia.
still super strong.
What?
It's still super
I feel like it's
strong.
not as strong though.
Yeah, maybe not as strong, but man, ooh,
It's a bad
that's
smell.
but it's a Disney
Yeah.
smell. Like I think of like, oh, I'm in Casey's. It's either the beginning of a day at the Magic Kingdom or it's the end of the
Yeah.
day at Magic Kingdom because I don't hang out there unless it's one of those two.
It's definitely a strong one. And I'm trying to like I just think all the different like I think Tomorrowland has a specific smell to it. I think, Liberty Square because of Columbia Harbor House has a smell to it. I mean they all just smell Adventureland is firewater heaven. I do.
Yeah.
I just think every area has its own smell to it.
Do you remember how Old Test Track used to smell?
Yeah, I do.
Old Test Track actually smells like the loading spot for Dinosaur.
Yes, because I couldn't. It's not like a rubbery. I don't even know how to explain it.
It's like an auto
Yeah.
shop,
For sure.
which makes complete sense.
Now I'm trying to think. Is there any smells, any of the other parks that I can really just say? Yeah, I think over by like Flame Tree Barbecue, any like barbecue smell, over at Animal Kingdom that really
That's a big one.
that's over at like Yak and Eddie over there.
Uh-huh.
Trying to think, is there any other smells I can really think of that are just really, huh? What would you say is the biggest Disney smell that most people would know? Would you say that's Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean is probably the most potent because it's such a unique and strong. Like I'm gonna be honest, when you said that, I was like, should I make the comment? Um, I don't smell it as much, but it's because my shower smells like that.
Right.
But my shower right now, if I go take a shower right now, it's not gonna smell like that because I've been here almost 8 months. I'm used to it now. But when I go in Pirates, I still smell it because it's so strong.
Right.
Especially when you go in the battle between the fort and the battleship in Barbosa, that room, you're done. You can't not smell it. It's full of that. It's in the air. You can see it in the fog.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's Peter. I unless you can think of another Disney smell, I can't because I think everywhere has a different smell. But I think I've named my favorites. I don't know if you realize this. You said theme parks, in
Yeah.
Orlando, and I got one
Yeah.
smell that you'll be able to smell on Saturday, and it's not as strong of a smell as it used to be. And actually, like, I don't know if any of you that are listening watch Tim and Jen Tracker. They've talked about this when they kind of remodeled over there. But the ride E.T. at Universal Studios, the queue of that ride had such a distinct smell to it that I absolutely loved. And I don't know what they did, but they got rid of it a little bit. You can still kind of hintly smell it, and I think you'll notice it just because you've never been there before. But someone that's been there when it was really strong, it just was a really good, distinct smell that I think a lot of people that went to Universal regularly knew about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will see because when this is getting posted for patrons, you'll be hearing it as I'm in the park. But if you're listening to this normally, I will have been in the park, and you should be going to check out my YouTube for the vlog from it because Sarah and I are going to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for the first time ever.
And that should be exciting. I think you guys should do a video of going to your favorite smell places.
Oh.
I think that'd be cool.
You know what? We'll make that exclusive for Patreon. How about?
Yeah.
We'll just go spotlight it like dot dot dot.
Right. Like your
Well,
top.
Tom, I think we did it pretty well. Our listeners sufficiently know that we are absolutely crazy,
No,
or they know that we are just like
no,
them.
you're crazy if you're not like us.
There
And
you
the
go.
great thing is I can't smell anything right now, so I could be in Disney and I wouldn't even know what you're talking about because my nose is clogged to the max. If you can't hear it in my voice, allergy season in the spring, but it's really winter here in Michigan. Even though it's 74 degrees today, it's going to be 30 next week.
Ooh, don't miss
Winter,
that.
spring, summer, and
not.
fall, all in the span of a weekend in Michigan.
That'll get you sick.
Yep. Yes, it will. So, I want to thank everybody again for listening to another episode. Me and Peter clearly have a blast doing it, but most importantly, we thank you guys for taking the time to listen to our nonsense because that's exactly what it is. But before we go, like I said, make sure to email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com to send us your theme park testimonials. Make sure to go follow Peter and Sarah at the Brookhart Project on all forms of their social media, especially YouTube if you want to watch their adventures every single day. And then go follow me and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. And if you feel inclined to want to follow us on Patreon, you can go do that as well. And we greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that very much. And until next time, I want to thank everybody again for listening. And this was another episode of the Park Hopper Podcast.